another person that like he has a name and a likeness, and he got NIL in the Rochester community where everybody gonna know who Richard is.
We talking about the meteorologist?
Yes. See what I mean?
Oh,
Yeah,
I know. I listen to the radio all the time.
but it's the see, but what you just did right there, if you seen his name, you would have been like, oh, I know who that is. I'm gonna vote for him.
Yeah.
So like,
you just proved his point.
yeah,
For real.
literally.
Volume 2.
Yeah. This is our show. Yeah. Introspective Insight. Introspective Insight. Peace, love, and all that good stuff. I am King Dev. That's Magic Gretzky, and this is Introspective Insight, the Black Wall Street podcast. And we back with a guest. I'm gonna let Magic introduce him, but when Magic said he was coming on the show, I was like, oh, I know him. He talking to my mom, and we live on the same street and all that. So yeah, we got a guest. It's gonna be a great conversation. And without further, well, actually, no. Before we introduce him, because I know once we introduce him, Magic always follow up with a question, and sometimes it goes to the depth of your soul. So hold on to that. First, we're gonna get into the word of the show and the quote of the show. The word of the show is innovation or innovating. There's a reason for that, and the quote of the show will speak to that. But innovation is the word of the show, and that means make changes in something established by introducing new methods, ideas, or products. And the quote of the show is how you act, walk, look, and talk is all a part of hip hop culture. And the music is colorless. Hip hop music is made from black, brown, yellow, red, and white. Rest in royalty to Africa Bambaataa.
So who I have here today is somebody that I know from over 10 years. Actually, is getting close. I think it may be over 15 years.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe over 15 years. I met him through a friend. I don't know how we got close. Every time we together, we have conversations that's separate from everybody else. He taught me a lot. Hopefully, I hope I taught him some things. Some people say when we get together, we go to debate. You know, we go to debate, we gonna argue. We don't want to argue. It's really just the dumbest debates. When I mean dumb, it's like James Harden don't have a step back. Dumb. And he would say he do, and I say, no, he don't. His step back is a travel. And we a debate for 2 hours about that. I hope I don't mess up your last name, because you know I can't fucking talk. Frank Keophetlasy.
Keophetlasy.
Yeah.
I've heard everything though, so it's Keophetlasy.
I'm 97%. I'm 97%. Frank, man, how you doing today, man?
I'm good. I appreciate y'all inviting me on the show. I'm excited. I mean,
well, I got somebody here, man. You know, he's into politics. He's into debates. And I say, you know, I seen you that week. And I'm like, you know what? You should come on the pod. And I finally got you here. So I'm gonna just start off with an opening question. How was it? The people don't know that you grew up in the inner city. So how was it being your descendant and living in the inner city? Was it difficult? Was it hard to adjust to? Was it something comfortable?
I'll say, I wouldn't say it was difficult, but I would say it definitely was like adjustments and different. And it's a lot of like past reflection to see it. Like in the moment, it was just what it was. But like when I look back at it, I saw it as just like adjustment and comfortability and what I was used to. So never really difficult, but definitely a blessing. I'll say that too. Something that made me who I am and made me appreciate everything about myself now.
Yeah. Hey. The only thing I can say about that is that did I freeze?
You got a call?
Yeah.
There you go.
Only thing I can say about that is that you made it look easy. I met you and you was probably already comfortable. Frank is actually very into hip hop and every other all the other things. And one thing I can say about Frank is that he is the reason I listen to Max B. And I'm pretty sure I'm pretty sure there's a lot of other people that can say the same thing. But
Yeah.
Frank is the reason why I started to listen to Max B. And since then, since then, at first I was like, you know what, I don't really mess with it. Then it took some years. I'm like, damn, Frank was right. Max B, Max B is tough. But yeah, man, I'm glad we my fault. Glad we got you on the show. I don't know where Dev gonna steer. I didn't really do too much digging because I feel like this is gonna be a lot of talking in this in this pod, in this episode. So yeah, Dev, what you got?
Nah, I was actually gonna let you start us off in terms of because I know it's gonna be you already know how it go. It's gonna be a
Okay,
question. Yeah, I already
don't
know.
even
Yeah,
trip. I
yeah, I
got you.
already know.
I
I
got
already
you.
know. I already
Frank,
know.
let's just jump right into it. What got you into politics and and what got you into the Rochester politics?
To be honest, I tell this story all the time. I was like 15 years old and I went to high school, RCSD at Wilson. Someone said to me like it was like one phrase that they said to me is like, Frank, you should be mayor one day. I didn't know what I wanted to do in my life. I thought maybe I was gonna go to law school, maybe I know I was gonna go to college, but it was when I was 15 and they said that. I'm just like, you know what, I'm just gonna go to college for political science, see where it take me. Um, I just kind of pursued it from there, stuck with it. It was times where I was like, yeah, I don't want to do this, or I don't think I'm learning anything. But what really, really pushed me was the people I met through college that made me commit to it. And then the experience that I had in politics on that grassroots, low level, baseline that really pushed me into wanting to get involved more. So it shifted from me wanting to be in politics with like big dreams of becoming president or becoming a judge one day to just wanting to be local so I could make real like substantive local change that I could see and touch and impact on a day to day. And that's really how I got into it. The story of how I really pushed through was just the connections I made and the people that came across in my life. So my mentor, the person that I really owe everything that I learned from was former assemblyman passed away, Assemblyman David Gant, and that's kind of really what opened my eyes and pushed everything for me.
And how do you feel about the space of Rochester politics now?
It's me personally, I think it's terrible. Terrible in the sense that like we don't see a diversity in power anymore. Everybody in power and control on a local level now that I've seen is all tied to a specific core, it's a specific establishment. We're all Democrats, don't get me wrong. We all generally fight for the same thing in the city of Rochester, at least. But where the powers come from and the people pulling the strings, I think it's all the same strings being pulled. At least when I was involved, and this is only about 6, 7 years ago, I'm talking about there were multiple power hitters in the game, but and to be honest, when Assemblyman Gant died, his whole camp, and that's the camp that I tie myself to, it just kind of we all went away, everything changed, and then everybody's tied to just the local establishment now, and it's so different to see it. And I'm not saying that to be critical of everything and everyone now, but it's just kind of how it is. I don't see a lot of people saying no and standing up to the people in power anymore. That's what we did. That's what I was always taught. I was always taught do what the people that vote for you want. Do what do what you think's best because the people that put you there for a reason. Not do what this person that's funding your campaign or in power now that can hurt you want you to do. And that's kind of how it ended up shifting my path out of politics at the end of the day.
Now, could you say what you just explained is that the country how the country is looking as of right now?
I think to an extent, yeah. Less it's less partisan. So it's not like on a country scale, it's Republican versus Democrat. On this local scale, the experiences that I've had. So a little background: I was a former county legislator, represented the area I grew up in, represented the area I bought my house in. My mom and dad still live in where I still live. Um, it's controlled strictly by Democrats. There's never been a Republican in this seat. It's Democrats fighting Democrats. And that's where local battles happen. And that's what a lot of people really don't understand sometimes. Um, so to an extent, yeah, but on a, like a scaled down level, it's Democrat versus Democrat, but it's still the same thing where it's like one side versus another, and we value certain things versus the other Democrats that value certain things. So I would say yeah and no. It's just smaller local level. I
So
will
with
say
the
that the federal level now is crazy. Some of the stuff that's happening,
Mhm.
it's nuts. And I'm not a super partisan person where I can tell you I say like if something's wrong, like every Democrat can't do right in my eyes. I don't think every Republican can do wrong. You know what I mean? I'm a very I try to be impartial and reasonable to it, but right now what we see going on is just nuts.
now is it now you do you feel once you a Democrat, always a Democrat? Or do you feel like,
Mm.
you know what? I don't want to be a Democrat. I don't want to be Republican. I want to do my own thing. Like, are you coming to that terms or
That's a great question. I feel like in the strategic scheme of things, and this is what a lot of people don't know is that to actually have a vote in Rochester in the local level, you have to be a Democrat. So I'm a Democrat generally with values. I don't like have a ton of values that I would be like, yeah, I'm switching or but I do value my right to vote. I do value having a say in who gets elected, especially on these local levels, the races where one, two, three votes can actually sway a seat.
Mhm.
So I'm a Democrat for that reason. But I think in the grand scheme of things, ideologically, I'm definitely a little more middle, moderate. If which I hope one day we get to, where party doesn't determine it and people can vote just based off values and character, I would absolutely be for that. And like take the Democrat away from my name. Don't put a letter next to my name. Just vote for me as Frank. I would 100% rather that. It's just the way the system is, and unfortunately, I don't know what it's gonna take to change the system.
YN's? His first name is Frank. Let's not throw pauses in the chat or comments. Because I know he said, let's just take the letter from in front of my name and just go Frank. So that is his real name. Okay, but this is my first question. My first question is at this state right now, and I know it's kind of different from you seeing me in this atmosphere asking questions and shit. Well, I got one. In this state right now, how would you feel David Grant would feel about you?
Mm. Mm.
That's a tough one. That's a great question though. I think he would be proud. I do. Because I think the things that I learned from him, and this is what I think a lot of people never really took a chance. They were like, "Oh, you were tied to David Gant. You were tied to Mayor Lovely Warren, so you're just one of them." I've never, I've never been told what to think. I've never been like I'm way more progressive than David was. I'm way more liberal. I believe in things that he didn't believe in, but that never swayed his belief in me because he saw the work ethic. He saw that I was willing to knock on a door in 10-degree weather to talk to people and get signatures. He saw that I was willing to get people to understand me and listen to me. He didn't see my skin. He was the longest serving black elected official in Rochester ever, at the time, and he probably will be for a long time, even now. But he didn't see me as just some random. He saw me for the work ethic, and that's what I'm really proud of. So I think he would still be proud of that, because I think I've taken that work ethic into everything I do. Because now I'm in nonprofit work, but that same work ethic I had is the same drive that makes me want to succeed at the stuff I'm doing now in the neighborhood, and still impacting the same neighborhood in a different aspect that is not politics. So I'm cool with that. And I'm still involved in politics on the side though, but something that I think it was a blessing for me is that I learned politics young, and I learned it in a way that a lot of people didn't learn it, that I could take that knowledge into different avenues. And that's really how I think I thrive now.
Okay, you added two more questions, and then there you can take over. Okay, another question is, how would you feel David would felt when you walked away from politics?
I think I think he'd have been okay with it. He's even in the short time I was with him, I've seen people walk away in the same time span. Um, I've seen people just sometimes you just got to focus on building your own life and putting your own stuff forward. And I don't think I've ever seen him. I don't think I've ever seen him criticize or be critical of people like that. And that's why I think I value him so much. He was just full of wisdom, but he was understanding. He was reasonable. He was scary. A lot of people were scared of him. I got some stories with him that like I feel like no one would ever believe. But it's just because I built trust with him, and I stayed loyal to what he taught me.
How do you feel with your name being connected to Lovely, with everything that she been through, and how people look at her now because of what she went through, and you know how that whole thing turned out in the public
Yeah,
eye, did everybody just turned their back? Now
I
how
have
how
I have no issue with any of it. That's my sister for life.
mhm.
We talk regularly. I do some work on the side with her. She's doing very well. I just knowing the behind the scenes and how things went down, and like living it real life when some of that stuff went down was crazy. But I also knew, like, as human beings, like, why who why would I turn my back on someone that believed in me and was there for me regardless of what I did? You know what I mean? And that's how I am, just in general as a person. I believed in her, still believe in her. I know a lot of people that say they miss her. When I'm with her, she's still one of the most popular people in the room. Nothing's really changed on that level. I have no, like, I don't. It was a crazy situation, and a lot of stuff went down in a way that in hindsight we probably would have should have handled differently, but I would have never turned my back, and I would have stayed by her side through it all. And just knowing how close I was to her, it caught me just completely off guard, because I was that close to her, and the stuff that we were hearing was just like not, it just didn't sound right to me.
How is it being David, Lovely, those are black politicians. So how is it being Asian with I think with you the only Asian, I believe?
I was at the time when I was
Yeah,
elected. That was
at the
2019. Yeah, the
yeah,
first
yeah.
two.
So how is it navigating in a political party, which is what is it predominant is white?
It's depending on
Where?
the area.
Mhm.
It's predominantly. It's probably like grand scheme of thing. Yeah, predominantly white, but like Rochester wise, it's predominantly black.
Black.
Yeah,
So how is it navigating being the only Asian and being around uh these black politicians, and this
it,
I mean some of them don't have the right
yeah.
intentions, and then some of them do.
That is a great question. I don't know if I've ever heard it asked like that. That's a really really good question. Um, I wouldn't say it was ever hard to navigate it. I think it was hard to like see the reality of situations in hindsight, but at the time with a lot of the decisions I made as a politician, I understood like where I was at and why I was why I was there. So like an example is and a reason that I got caught up in the county legislature when I was in office, um, there were 5 black legislators and 1 Asian legislator. And we just felt like the legislators in power at the time weren't listening to us. We felt like we felt like we couldn't get anything done. And at the time, we had just elected a Democrat. We helped get a Democrat elected to the county executive seat for the first time in 30 plus years. So for some kind of comparison, county executive is basically the president of the county. We were the legislators, so we're basically the people who put the laws in towards him and work with him. But we helped him get elected, and he wasn't doing right by us. There was a lot of stuff that was happening above. It goes back to what I was saying earlier. There was a lot of stuff that was going on above us that would impact us, impact our communities. So what do? We worked with Republicans, and as black and Asian legislators working for Republicans was a really, really bad thing to do under the public. But the things we accomplished with Republicans is how government should work at the end of the day. We passed laws that increased MWBEs in the county. We forced the MWBE minimum in the county, and we made Republicans do that. We made Republicans change the name after Frederick Douglass at the airport. We made the county executive put money towards black, brown, local nonprofits because they refused to do that. And we made Republicans sign on to do that. Now, whether they were doing it for the right reasons is a different thing. I know we did it for the right reasons. And the stuff that I can list on and say we did and accomplished during the pandemic are great. But once you start working the Republicans, when you get an enemy and Democrats vote for you, that become the ammo. So what happened to me? It was Democrats putting my face out saying I'm a Republican. I vote with Republicans. I'm the Republicans' best friend now. Even though on the line we're all Democrats, Republicans never gonna win the seat, but it's hard to combat that message when powers above are putting $20, $30, $40,000, and I'm a grassroots. I get money from friends. You came to one of my fundraisers. I get $100 from a friend, maybe if they got it to support me, but they're putting down like big money to help take me out because I couldn't be controlled by it. And that's the reality that I don't think I've ever fully gotten depth and share, but that's kind of how it went down.
Do you see yourself in the mirror of New York City right now?
I could see that I could see in a similar situation. Yeah, I could see a comparison in the sense that we're just different for what is traditionally expected out of these seats. And I agree with him on a lot of things. Again, I consider myself fairly progressive on a lot of things. I'm socially progressive. I believe in universal health care. I think our taxes should go to taking care of people instead of funding wars. I believe in a lot of stuff that he believes in. I think his grassroots come up and the shock that he had to succeed is a lot different than mine. I still kind of came from an establishment, so I'm not going to even act like I didn't have a foundation. You know, I had a foundation that believed in me, that knew what they were doing. I think the mayor of New York is more like people are fed up and I'm going to do it, and I did it. You know what I mean? So I see myself in the sense that like we probably went in with the same intentions. He came in a different kind of background backing than I did, because as much as I say, I mean, I still came from a strong black established power, and I don't think the mayor of New York came from something similar like that.
And one last thing before you continue, can you tell the people your ethnicity? Because you know everybody just say Asians is Chinese.
They gonna eat you up in the comments.
I was just talking
Ethnicity.
about this with some people. They was like, someone asked me, "Where are you from?" I'm like, I'm from here. I'm from America. My parents came to America from Laos, though. And then she had proceeded and asked, "So do you speak Chinese?" I'm like, no, I speak Laotian in English, but that's really a thing. Like, I saw a King of the Hill episode where they were like, "Are you Chinese or Japanese?" I'm from Laos, and then they went back and said, "Are you Chinese or Japanese?" It happens all the time. But Laos is Southeast Asian, landlocked between Cambodia, Thailand, China.
Hey, and tell that fact that you always tell me about the bombing. About
Oh yeah, the reason my family's here, the reason I'm here is because Laos is the most heavily bombed country in the world's history per capita during the Vietnam War, bombed by no other than the United States.
That is.
If you look it up, you could search it. The Secret War. During the Vietnam War, there was a war going on in China because Vietnam was using, or not, I said China, in Laos. Vietnam was using Laos as like proxy hidden country. So America, without a congressional approval, like bombed the shit out of Laos. Like so many, like there's still thousands of undetonated bombs in Laos because of that. But that's the reason my family had to flee. That's the reason my mom and dad came here in 1980, just still because of war-torn work. And I mean, yeah, we appreciate America, but America also the reason we had to leave. They had to leave the country.
So how y'all end up in Rochester? Like y'all
Rochester, a big refugee settlement area. So they were actually placed here. And it's still a big refugee settlement area for a huge influx of refugees yearly. Right now, less because I don't think Trump is accepting as many refugees from countries, but like every couple years when there's war in other countries and refugees flee, they'll come and literally get placed in different cities throughout America, sanctuary cities that are offering to take in refugees. So they ended up just getting placed here and stuck with it, and that's all they've known other than war is Rochester, and that's kind of what shaped me and my perspectives because that's all I know is really Rochester.
I always like to ask how people ended up in Rochester. Like, I'm from there, born and raised. My family is not from there though. My family is from the South. My dad's side is Alabama. My mom's side is Florida. But their migration, if you will, up into Rochester was uh Kodak. Kodak and Rochester was a huge industrial place at that time. So a lot of people moved up there for work. So it's always interesting to hear how people ended up in Rochester. Even people from like the EU coming to Rochester and all that stuff. Like when I worked at Community Place, we used to get every year like students or people who come over a study abroad. I don't know what they be doing, but they got them thick accents and they be over here working with our kids. And it's like, why are you here? All of the United States. How'd you get to Rochester? You landed in Rochester. So you always like to ask that. I think one of the things as I was listening is like this. A lot of things happened in 2020, and you were still in office at that point.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. A lot of things happened in 2020, and as I was engaging in the community side of it, I was super active during that time. Started Rock Freedom Riders, all of that stuff. Talking with or engaging with local either city council men and or women. I was recruited to run for city council. I've been told consistently to run for school board, whole bunch of different things, right? And it's super interesting because we feel like politics is so like over there, but there's a lot of things that I feel like politics is here too. So like here you talk about all that stuff that happened behind the scenes, and I'm pretty sure you are like, because you still, if you want to be in politics, you still got to like kind of play the game a little bit. I can't tell too much because if my entry point is in, you know, you might be just be planning to run for mayor in the next cycle, right? So you can't really say too much about what you've experienced, but just hearing the little bit of what you were just saying around all that, the smear campaigns, Democrat versus Democrat, and all that different stuff, it is very not surprising that that happens. And then also, we was talking before we started recording, like, yeah, Rochester got real weird in a lot of things. I was one of the people that was very critical at Lovely Warren, or about Lovely Warren, when Daniel Prude and everything happened.
Mm-hmm.
I was critical of Singletary. Singleton.
Yeah, Singletary. Yep.
Singletary. Okay, Singletary,
Police chief.
the police chief, who ended up running as a Republican, I think, right, for
Congress.
For Congress, right? So I was very critical on all of them, primarily because Rochester is so progressive, and people don't really truly understand how powerful Rochester, the nonprofits in the area, and the county as a whole is compared to national. Like, on a national scale, Rochester is doing a lot of good stuff, a lot of great stuff. And to be out and you hear what happened to Daniel Prude, and it happened before Breonna Taylor and George Floyd, and it was like covered up for that long until the lawyers and stuff got involved. And then you see like the tit for tat between Singletary and Lovely Warren and all that stuff. It was almost like, come on, we know better than that, right? We know better than that. They can do whatever it is they want to do, but we can't do what they do, because they chew us up and spit us out. So we have to be better, and even if it's bad, taking it on the chin and being honest to the people. So I'm always critical. I'll be critical of you if you were at the forefront and stuff like that happened, because that's the only way that we hold community accountable. And the reality is, the people who we elect is supposed to represent our best interest. And in no way is politics in America right now even relatively close to representing anybody's best interest as it pertains to what's going on geopolitically, so on and so forth. So, I was just, I don't know why, but I just looked up. Oh, it was because Magic said something about the mayor of New York City. And Malik Evans, which he need to retire. And he need to retire. No particular reason. He just been around for too long. Like, he been around for too long.
Yeah.
He's been in so many different spaces.
Oh yeah.
I think one of the things around Zoran Mamdani in New York City that I appreciate is he's our generation, and he is doing things with the influence that he built as a millennial to move the needle. And we need people in office. I've said it on this show a bunch of times. We need people in office that are most closest to us, who are willing to do the work in the most innovative way possible. There go the word of the show. So do you see yourself running for a mayoral seat? I don't.
Right now, I wouldn't. I do see myself running for office again, though. I mean, I also, after legislature, I ran for city council 2 years ago, and it was a kind of a close race. I think like 100 maybe votes, but it was 100. It was 100 votes flip. So like, I learned the strategy after the fact and how I lost, and I saw what happened to me after I lost, and it's just stuff that I kind of wasn't prepared for, but I should have expected. It ended up being more so of what I went through the first time when I lost, just that negative knocking on doors, telling people I'm bad, I'm this, and I'm happy to share. I keep all of that in my phone. I got the physical copies of it, like at the doors. Frank is a Democrat. I mean, Frank is a Republican. I went through that again when I ran for council. And that kind of really is what pumped me from like, I need to step back and do a little more. I need to just do some more work in general to hopefully build some name and some real like substantial work in the community where enough is going to be like the work I've done speaks for me. You can call me whatever you want, but I did all this, and I've built all this, and I've helped produce all this. So that's where I ended up making a pivot 2 years ago into nonprofit work and just some of the stuff that I'm at a big nonprofit now, um, but like I'm able to still do a lot of work in this community that I think will help me one day when I decide it's time run for office again, but run from a different perspective where like I feel like I can get to a point where if I run again, I'll know it's time because all that bullshit that they're gonna try and come for me with, it ain't gonna matter because I did all this and the facts is gonna speak for it. And I think that's when I'll know. And I don't see it now. If it happens, I don't see it happening anytime soon. But I told myself if I do jump back, I'll give myself until 35 to make that decision.
Word. That's dope. I admire people who run for office and all that. Like the amount of you have to knock on doors, get signatures just to get on the ballot and all that. That is a lot of work that I don't have the patience to do. I have a lot of patience.
Yeah.
That's for kids. In terms of politics and all that stuff, I mean, obviously you have this the system behind you. That's always a thing. But at the same time, there's a lot of other work that has to go. So like when Mitch Gruber was the one who like was trying to recruit me to run for a seat on city council or whatever the case, and he had been to a few of our rides and all of that stuff. And I was young, like I was probably mid 20s, I would say. So at that moment, it sounded enticing, but I also, and this was like, I want to say this was 2021 ish around that time. Um, but my antennas went up because I know that there's always something you got to give. And if you get in that much support, and not to say that Mitch was trying to put me into, a specific or particular bucket of you owe me or I owe you type situations, but it's also like you got to do that on your own terms, similar to what you were just saying, and you got to know exactly what it is that you're trying to do. So even with school board, yeah, I can run for school board, but do I want to deal with that dysfunction? Because the
Yeah.
school board as a whole has been dysfunctional since Malik Evans was on it way back when, right?
Mhm.
So the Rochester school district as a whole has been dysfunctional for decades at this point. So for me to
Absolutely.
go in to run and sit as a commissioner and deal with that nonsense that I already know is happening because I'm working within that system, that's crazy. And that's always because I've even been told like, oh yeah, you can run for mayor one day. I mean, I could, but it doesn't make sense. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yo,
so go
that's
ahead.
a great it takes great like awareness to like be able to recognize that because so I'm gonna be completely transparent. The reason I'm in nonprofit work now is because of Mitch Gruber. So the connection is kind of crazy. I didn't know any of that.
Yeah.
But the awareness to know like a lot of people jump to it if someone says you should do it and they either do it or they don't. But to have the awareness to pump your brakes is something admirable because I mean you see how stuff is now. It's crazy. Who knows what could have happened if you ain't, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It could have turned you off for forever on it, or you could be mayor right now. You never know.
Word. And I mean, I think one thing that we've talked about this on the show is I don't believe that anyone should die in a political seat. I think that all seats should have term limits all the way down to local government. You shouldn't be able to just I think politics as a profession is more than just the politician. Like it's similar to like sports. I never made this analogy before, so this is a world premiere. It's just like sports, football, basketball, whatever. We only see the player. So we want to be the player. But there's so many other things that happens around the player that makes the player the player. So just like players have trainers and physical therapists and coaches and all these different things, politicians have analysts and economists and all these different people around them that help them make informed decisions. The only idiot that doesn't make informed decisions because they surround themselves by idiots is the orange agent that's in the White House. But I digress. So I think that one of the things also is to make that decision to run for any office, and you are in alignment with somebody means that you also benefit from whatever resources they have, and that always comes at a compromise of some sort. And
Absolutely.
at that moment, I didn't know if I was willing to compromise anything, especially when I wasn't looking for it and it was falling at my feet to a certain extent. Like Mitch is a cool guy. Don't got no problems with him. It just didn't work out. And the way that it was happening at the moment was we went to the brewery on right across from High Falls, and
Genesee Brewery. Yeah.
the Genesee Brewery. And he was like, yeah, we got to make, like, he pitched it, and then he was like, yeah, we still got time to decide what we want to do, but we want to make it sooner or later so we can start the process of campaigning and all of that stuff. So it's a 2-year process just to get to the ballot. It's not like I wake up and that's what it is. So let me ask you this. Do you feel, I know you kind of touched on it a little bit earlier, but do you feel that the system as we know it right now is even effective in producing the type of change or impact that we want it to produce in terms of politics?
That's a tough question. I think it can be effective in us. Is it effective enough right now? I don't think so. I just think that it can be effective when you have real reasonable debate and compromise. I don't think the system's effective when you have one group in control. And I think that's what we haven't seen in a while, or this is what we're going through for the last couple of years, is that there's one group in control right now, and the group can all tie to the same support system almost, and that's, I think that impacts effectiveness and efficiency. Even when talking about the current mayor, it's crazy, the story, because I mean, who was Malik Evans' mentor? David Gant.
Yeah, David Gant is a legend in Rochester.
David Gant was Lovely's mentor. Would Malik have ever ran against Lovely if David was alive? I don't think so.
No, that wouldn't have happened.
But that's where we're at now. And I just don't see, like, I don't dislike the mayor. Like, I don't have issues with him, but I hear criticisms, and some of the criticisms that I hear are actual reasonable criticism, and some of the changes that have been made are actual changes that people are talking about because they're living it and seeing it. And I think just the effectiveness of the system doesn't allow it, because he kind of went in like no one thought the opponents that ran against him last year were gonna beat him. No one thought they had a chance to beat him.
I don't even know who
and
ran
that's
against
when
him.
it was Mary Lupian, and Shashi Sina. But I don't think anybody really believed that they had a chance, and I think that's when the system is least effective. When
I don't know who them fucking people is.
Well, so
Mary's a councilwoman now, but that's when effectiveness isn't good.
Zula growling, that shit was bugging me. I'm like, where the fuck is the dog?
Why are you laughing? Like, I
Cause all I heard. I'm like, damn, somebody playing DMX. What's going on? Because it sounded like she was tweaking right there in your ear.
Then she threw up. Yeah, she was tweaking. But yeah, I think it's less effective when there's less players in the game, and I just think we need that shock factor again. We need that shock factor in Rochester. Like, we need that someone. There are progressive candidates. There are candidates that line right up with like a Mamdani in New York, but there's not a candidate that I think can resonate. That's in the sphere right now. There's not an incumbent that will resonate with what he actually did and was able to do. But I think that's what we need. And we've seen it happen where when that does happen, the powers will get together to make sure you don't succeed. And you look at I didn't think Man Down was gonna win. I thought that Republicans in the Democratic establishment in New York City was gonna get behind Cuomo, and I thought Cuomo was gonna be mayor. I wanted Man Down to win, but we seen that happen in Buffalo a couple years ago. Byron Brown lost the primary to India Walton. India Walton's a super progressive, a Democrat socialist. Powers behind Byron Brown helped him win in a write-in in Buffalo. That's insane to win a mayor seat as a
As a
write-in candidate
write-in,
because
it's
Republic.
crazy.
It's crazy. It's crazy. So, and I think that's where Rochester is going to struggle in a similar aspect. Like, we're just not big enough to where like you're going to see millions of dollars come into a candidate that is super progressive here. You're not gonna see support. You're not gonna see the structure because we're just a smaller city. We're like small fish in a pond right now.
Yeah.
But I think that's what we need though. I think we need somebody that's gonna resonate, someone that's gonna speak to like the struggles and the issues that, and someone that's gonna not be scared and fight against being controlled with some of the powers that be. And I say the powers that be, and I'm critical of myself, and I'm fully aware that I came from a power. I was backed by a power in my experience. I don't regret none of it. I would never change none of it, but I'm aware of like the people that I'm criticizing. Like I can be critical and look back and realize that myself is that I also came from an establishment. I just came from the establishment. If you had to pick at the time, I would pick the same establishment over and over again because that's an establishment that really believed that they were trying to fight for this community and people of color. I wouldn't change it, but if if there was a different path to doing it independently, then that would be a whole different story though.
That's a fact.
So I got to be critical of myself. I got to.
That's a fact. I was so first I wrote down earlier when you was talking about money. I'm like, who is the funders in Rochester? Like,
There's some funders.
I know. There's a lot of big hitters in Rochester, but it's like, to what end? Because it's not like Rochester's a big like real estate place where you got to protect your interests. It's not like Rochester is a big touristy place, so you got to protect those interests. So it's like, it's interesting to hear that money is still, well, money is always going to be a thing because it costs for campaigns, but in Rochester, and people being able to sway, but then you got like the Morellis of the world who needs to retire and go somewhere wherever you live, who is connected to DC, which is then connected to APAC and all of them, all of those different lobbyists. So
that's the thing that a lot of people don't know and had knowledge of, and I think that's part of the reason like education and political education in particular needs to happen, is because all the stuff you're talking about and mentioned, it's all public knowledge. You can look at everybody that you have to file who donates to you. The only workaround it is if you get a donation under 99, you don't have to file a name to it. Anything over 99, you have to put on paperwork, file it. So every candidate in office right now, if the community had more knowledge about how to look up who's funding their campaigns and who donates to them, I think a lot of opinions would be changed. But that's kind of where I've been. If I don't run for office one day, my other vision is to, if I get rich, I am going to fund some campaigns and do some stuff that I will love to enjoy. Because I'm not going to be on the forefront of it, and it's not going to be me as a target, but it's going to be me doing what I think is right. And because I can, if I had the money, I think that would change a lot, because I feel like I could make some decisions and get some get backs. I'm not a spiteful person, but some of the stuff that was said to me and said about me was hurtful.
It's okay to be petty. Hey, one thing.
well,
What headphones you got? Hold on,
Got some
Dev.
beats. Does it sound bad?
No, I can hear everything in the background. Whoever on the PlayStation, pick something.
That's Shadane, bro. You about to play. Let me close the door.
yo, that's funny.
Shadane, pick something. Damn.
Yo, I can hear picks. Oh, that's funny.
That's funny.
That's funny.
mad.
You good. It's just I can hear everything. I can hear him.
Is my mic too sensitive? You want me to turn it down?
I don't hear
No,
that.
you good.
I heard you
good.
talking.
You good.
That mean Magic is worrying about the wrong things.
That's
But
all I kept hearing.
but it's funny.
I could just see him like, nigga, pick something.
It's funny because I'm over here like smirking, and it wasn't because of nothing you were saying, but I like looked up this picture and I was like, she thought she was gonna win in Rochester.
I mean, she's very popular in her district. She represents I think it's the East District, which is like Park Ave, and but she's very popular there though, and that's a base that if you can secure, that's always been in history. Like that's always been the base that wouldn't vote for a lovely Warren.
Mm-hmm.
That's the base that wouldn't vote for candidates that have seen power in areas like the ones we live in. But I just don't think that her base loved her enough to be like, I want her over Malik. Had she fully pulled her base out, that race would have probably been a lot different.
How? What was the spread? What was the difference?
He killed them. I think he had like at least like 60-70% of the vote.
Yeah. So
and in a 3-way race, that's pretty good.
Yeah. One thing, shout out to Beatrice LeBron. Shout out to Beatrice. That's the homie. She been trying to recruit me to city council, to school board for the longest of time. And she put me on the voter ID, and basically the idea of people get elected based off of their name. So similar to what Frank was talking about earlier, like Malik been around for a long time. People know, like, can picture Malik's face without even thinking about it. They hear the name, I know who that is. I've known Malik's face in my head for years because he's been around for years. That's the same thing with Richard McCullough, another person that like he has a name and a likeness, and he got NIL in the Rochester community where everybody gonna know who Richard is.
We talking about the meteorologist?
Yes. See what I mean?
Oh,
yeah.
I listen to the radio all the time.
But it's the see. But what you just did right there, if you seen his name, you would have been like, "Oh, I know who that is. I'm gonna vote for him."
Yeah.
So like,
you just proved his point.
Yeah,
for real.
Literally. Like,
just say the name.
Oh yeah. If I know the name, yeah. That's what I'm saying. If you, that's how majority votes is.
That's how majority votes.
If I see the name, oh, okay, I know what that is. I'm going there.
Right.
But they don't know what that person got to do, nothing. And this is one thing I am going to say. This is what I don't like about politics. Is that you don't see them or you don't hear their name until voting year. So if I don't see or know your name until voting year, why the fuck? But this is the crazy thing. If you do an impact, you do a something very impactful that voting year, you're more than likely going to get voted for because because your name is getting your name. I keep seeing that. I'm gonna go for that. So and then it also is a problem with. Okay, you could be a Democrat. Let's just say the primary. If you could be a Democrat, right? Let me not say primary. Let's go to November. Let's say November.
Yeah.
And you just saying, just vote Democrat, vote Democrat, vote Democrat. But maybe that Democrat not going for what you want or what you looking for. So you just voting Democrat just to be voting Democrat because that's all you know of. That's a terrible way to look at it. That's why you should do your research on the people on the ballot before you actually go and actually vote. That's the only thing I gotta say.
No, that's true though, because like even me, like I growing up being like a I wasn't born like my parents aren't political at all. I made the decision off of just like values. But when I look at it, like even fresh in politics, I was voting Democrat all the time until Democrats hurt me, until I started seeing Democrats by name also. You know what I mean? They're just a Democrat. If I know you as a person, as someone that doesn't care about other communities, or I've heard stories of elected officials high up saying those ain't my people, so I don't care. I've heard stories. I heard a story last week like that where they were like, Those aren't my constituents. Those aren't my peoples. I don't care. My people good.
Loyal to a fault.
It's a white
Loyal to the fault.
elected official, which it's like stuff like that is what made me realize like you just can't vote. You just can't vote by party line. It's not.
Vote for
It
who
doesn't make sense.
who
And then
got
when that happens, the people that you vote for end up taking advantage because they know they can do what they want and get away with doing whatever they want. Especially now with Trump. I think in Rochester for the next several years, I don't think we're going to see a Republican get elected. So these primaries and the battles that happen in June are going to be the real battles. So if you're good and you're unopposed in a primary, you probably relax in the rest of the year because you know you're going to cook whatever Republican tries to step forward because of what's happening above you. Because what's happened with Trump and all this stuff, like we've seen seats flip blue for the first time in decades, and I don't see it changing. But I think that's how people get taken advantage of a lot more. And primaries are really going to be really, really important here in the next few years.
And that's another thing that primaries don't get as much light as that November race, which the primary to me matters more than November. June mattered more than November to me. But
it's true in Rochester.
Yeah, for sure. But I don't want to bring you on here and just speak about politics.
Yeah.
That's not your life. So last week, right? But before we get off the politics, just a quick answer. How do you feel about the war right now?
It's stupid. It is stupid. It's unnecessary. We're literally in a war for another country, attacking a country for another country, and it's insane. It don't make sense. And when you say that, you automatically get looked at like you're crazy sometimes, or like but we're fighting this war for Israel. It's the truth. I don't see any other reason behind it. And I get frustrated because the people that were pounding at the doors, Biden made gas prices go up, and Biden isn't doing stuff. And I was a Biden delegate, but I was very critical of Biden. I don't think he did an amazing job at all by any means. But if you're gonna be critical of him and what he did, you got to be critical of the impact Trump has had on gas prices, on grocery prices, on everything. You can't have it one way. It's literally you got to hold them to the same standard, and that's what's sad to see people still defending it, and it just doesn't make sense to me. It's stupid. It's stupid. It's a stupid war.
All right, I was going to ask one more question. I'm gonna just fuck that question. Let me get off the politics. Let's just get off politics. All right. So last week, and I don't know, it might take you a bit, but I'm only gonna give you 60 seconds. No, I'm gonna give you 120 seconds. The question is, can you name 10 all-time debut albums?
All-time debut albums?
Put him on the spot with that.
No order. Your personal top 10 debut albums of all time.
That's tough.
And I'm going to start the clock now.
That is tough. You gotta give me a little bit more specification though, like debut albums, because you know a lot of artists drop mixtapes and LPs.
No, debut albums.
Debut studio album.
Studio album, yes. Starting the clock again.
So I think Kendrick's debut album. I think Drake's
which is
debut.
Section 80.
Yeah, I like Section 80 a lot though.
Okay.
I think that, and then Good Kid took it to another level. I think I love Trap Soul. I like Drake's debut album. Shit.
Thank Me Later.
Thank Me Later was fire to me. I'm a big Roddy Ricch fan. I love Roddy Ricch's debut album. I was on a flight to the Ivory Coast listening to that nonstop. As you can see, I listen to a lot of rap,
1 minute left.
and bro, why you do this to
That's
me?
crazy. It took me about 4 weeks just to get my 10.
Yeah, you can't put me on the spot for that. That's 4. That's probably
That's
going to
4.
change too. That's the thing.
Give me at least one more. Give me at least one more. Top 5.
Thinking of a debut.
I think Usher's debut album was fire.
Okay.
Mm.
Okay.
A lot of people saying
Okay.
Usher. We probably had I posted on Facebook. I asked this question on Facebook, and a few people said Usher first album.
Usher's first album was fire.
Yeah.
And it's all like growing up. My family wasn't listening to a lot of. My family was listening to like straight Laotian music. I got my music taste from my brothers and albums that he had before he went to war. Like one of the albums I remember listening to was Maroon 5's first album growing up. Shit, I don't know, bro. How much time I got?
The time is up.
That's cool.
I think J. Cole's debut album was cool.
You said who?
Who?
J. Cole.
Oh,
J. Cole.
no.
Oh, there you go.
Oh no.
He says no.
That's the
It was
pressure.
cool though. It was cool.
That's the pressure
It is the
talking.
pressure. It was cool. I didn't think it was like his best work by any means. I thought his mixtapes before that were
Yeah,
better
your
than his
mixtapes can't be
debut.
better than your debut. That's crazy. That was just
That's
him
crazy,
breaking
right?
into the industry.
Yeah. Yeah. Ask me again if I'm on again at some point. I have a list for you.
Yeah, that's
Dad, what you got?
That's crazy. Asking that question and only giving 120 seconds.
What? Know who I listened to, so that like that was tough.
Hey, 1 hour and 2 minutes. You said me.
I already know. 1 hour, 2 minutes, and 55 seconds.
Was that good?
I mean, you went an hour without saying his name, so you know that was good. That was good. Well, typically what we do is we have 2 segments that Magic brought to the show. The internet taught me and the song of the week. So we're gonna go into the internet taught me. So this could be anything. It don't got to be nothing profound. It could be something as dumb as the president of the United States of America. It don't matter. It could be whatever. So typically you can like scroll through your saved on TikTok or whatever the case. I have one, and since we were just talking about music, I might as well go ahead and say it. And then I'll pass it to Magic. So Frank, you got some time to think about if the internet taught you anything or reminded you of anything. But I was scrolling on TikTok today, in between meetings, and I came across this one of these creators. He does like journalism on TikTok. He went to school for journalism. He be having some commentary. Matter of fact, Magic, I think you sent me a video of his before. I don't know, but he was not responding. He was talking about or reacting to DJ Academics saying that Kendrick ruined hip hop.
Oh my fucking God.
Kendrick ruined what hip hop is right now, whatever the case. And
Kendrick ruined the excitement for new releases.
The excitement of new releases, yeah. Which is basically ruining hip hop, right? So I was just thinking, like, dang, the internet is reminding me. It's not really teaching me, but the internet reminds me that Kendrick is living rent free in people's head because of what happened 3 years ago at this point. And was it 3 years ago? Yeah, 3 years ago. Right. 3 years ago at this point. Ago. 2 years ago at this point. And for that, my honorable song of the week is Whacked Out Murals, because he said, I'm doing what COVID did. They ain't never gonna get over it. So
okay,
that's my internet reminding me.
So interesting that I'm bringing this up in Frank on here, because I never even bought like this type of stuff up. But the internet taught me about a soldier, a U.S. Army soldier named Shoshana Johnson. She's a Panamanian-born African-American woman. She is the first African-American woman taken prisoner of a war in military history of the United States. This happened 2003 of Iraq. She was going somewhere and made the wrong turn, and they had a whole battle. She was captured. She was captured for 22 days. She was shot in her ankles. They
Dang.
put her on the news. They put her on the news and kind of like and try to embarrass her and embarrass America and stuff. Someone in the area or from Iraq, Iraqian, that's what they call it.
Mm-hmm.
Come on, help me, somebody. Okay.
Iraq.
And
Yep.
they told America where they was keeping the prisoners. They kept moving them around to secret location, and then somebody came and told them, "Hey, they got them at this location." That's how they found them. But she got a Purple Heart. She got a Bronze Star Medal and Prisoner of War medal.
That's crazy.
And she's still alive to this day. She don't get a lot of light shined on her. There was somebody else that was caught with her that gets more light than her. But I think we should shine more light on her as well. She didn't get a movie. She didn't get none of that. The other girl got book deal, all types of shit.
What's her name again?
Shoshana Johnson.
Shoshana Johnson.
Shoshana Johnson.
I like how we be spelling out names and we don't know if we saying it right, so the people can get it.
my best friend name is Kishana, and she spelled Shana the same way when she speak on her nickname.
That's crazy.
My song of the week.
Hold on. We ain't get there yet.
Be.
We ain't get there yet.
Oh, okay.
I said that was my honorable because
that's your honorable.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's Frank.
I'll wait on that.
Yeah, it's Frank's turn.
What has the internet taught me? I mean, I'm trying to think of like what I benefit from on a day-to-day, not trying to be too generic, but Google taught me how to, in like YouTube videos and just like grinding, it taught me how to really bullshit. I'm getting paid to do design work, have no history of design. I don't know. The internet can teach you a lot of stuff. The internet will teach you how to make some bread, though. I say that. Yeah. I don't know. That's probably a terrible one, but I can't.
And that's okay.
That's okay.
That's okay.
Magic ain't have one last week.
Last week I ain't had one.
Yeah. So you never know, because sometimes you run into a crazy story about getting shot in the ankles because you made a left turn and the only thing you get is a prisoner of war honor. Crazy.
That was fire. I wanna look it up.
Yeah, like
look it up. Shoshana Johnson. They've been told that the other girl got 80% disability, and Shoshana only got 30%.
Oh.
I'm not gonna say who the other girl is. I want y'all to look it up, and then y'all go on from there.
But didn't the other girl get like book deals and stuff like that?
I want y'all to look it up.
Hey,
and then you go on from there.
What I'm saying is Shoshana, she ain't.
And also, that's fucked up.
I stopped. That's
fucked up. They're already on your ass about Frederick Douglass' wife. But
I did not mean to say that.
Shoshana, also look up the interview that they gave her on the news report TV thingy. Look that up as well. That's all over TikTok as well.
I was just trying to say, for the record, that she came out of it only 20%, and the other person that you're not naming came out more disabled than Shoshana.
No. So when you get like discharged from like the Army or Navy, they'll pay you out on how much your disability is. They both had the same thing.
Oh, ain't no way. All right.
Yeah.
You pissing me off.
Yeah. They both, from what I was told, they both got the same thing. But one person got an 80% disability, and the other one got a 30%.
Oh, disability as in payout.
Yes.
That makes sense. My brother is 100% disabled vet, so he gets the full benefits.
You get the full benefit, right? Now, how long the benefits last?
I think
Forever.
yeah, your life.
It's
Yeah.
forever. So they get paid.
They'll get paid whatever.
It's-
I would assume whatever
it
their
ain't
salary.
easy to get, but
Yeah.
Yeah, I know it ain't easy.
Yeah, you got to go through
Like you got to put up a
some stuff.
fight.
Yeah.
My brother he works at a VA, so he knows how to do a lot of stuff like that.
How much?
That don't make no sense.
All right.
All right. Where did
Which
song of the week? Song of the week.
Song of the week.
Yep. What you got? What you got?
My song of the week will be "Pyramids" by Frank Ocean.
Good song.
That's a good song. Mine. I'm going tribute to Africa Bambaataa because he passed away today.
He passed away today.
Yep. Too young. He was only 67. 67. Too young.
They
Way
said
too
he had
young.
complications with cancer.
Yeah, way too long. We gotta figure that out. That's too young. But I'm gonna go Planet Rock.
Okay.
First album that defined Afro futurism and that tech sound. And it was a good song for it to be 7 minutes long. Great song. Didn't pioneer hip hop. So Planet Rock.
I remember playing that shit as a kid. I thought that was the hottest shit out.
Yo,
I don't know what it was on Grand Theft Auto or some shit.
Yeah.
I remember I used to get in the car and keep changing the channel to the fucking
so you can get it.
On.
Yep.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And
what you got, Frank?
My song of the week.
What's your song of the week?
we was just having a little artist debate earlier in the week, and the artist debate was who was bigger at their peak, Ludacris or T.I. And in the car, I just played Rubber Band Man, so I'm gonna say Rubber Band Man, my song of the week. But I think T.I. was a bigger artist than Ludacris, and we had a very long debate about it.
I don't.
Did Luda have a peak?
Yeah, I would say
he had a peak.
But was it a feature peak?
But this, hold on, wait a minute.
It was he had a peak. He had a peak.
This reminds me of the whole Drake debate.
What Drake debate?
Dev. So me and Frank and a bunch of other people had a whole debate about when Drake was actually the man. I think I brought this up to you. When Drake was the man. I said Drake was the man after Take Care. I said around, if you're reading this, it's too late. Around the whole What a Time to Be Alive. I said that's when Drake was.
Yeah, we talked about
He was the man. He was the face of hip hop. Frank says, Take Care.
Nope.
And I'm
I mean, my debate was when I started listening to Drake on So Far Gone, though. So I was like, when he blew up, I feel like his peak album kept him at peak for a long time. But I think my rebuttal to Magic was, my rebuttal was, wherever you put his peak, I think his peak lasted several albums. So his peak was longer than most.
Oh yeah, I think he just now coming down off his peak. But
I think that's kind of where it was where he started to peak is the argument. But I'm like, I don't necessarily disagree with his take, but I think his peaks started a little earlier than
things change when time go past. Things change when time go past. Things change when time go past. Sometimes you gotta let it put it out. YNs, don't get me. Please. But sometimes you gotta put it out for them to actually catch it and get on to what you're saying. Because I was arguing that for damn near an hour, and they kept trying to. I'm like, yo, his peak was What a Time to Be Alive.
What a Time to Be Alive.
That's around the Meek Mill beef.
That was a start. That was like the start of like him staying on the top of the wave.
Yeah, because you can't say, oh, Take Care and all this. You had Watch the Throne was out. How is he at his peak with Watch the Throne? It's not even. It don't come on.
Drake.
But hey, like I said, you gotta let time go past.
I was about to say Drake.
But whoever's saying Ludacris is out of their mind.
A lot of people say Ludacris though. A lot of
Ludacris
people
had a
said
run.
Ludacris.
I don't know that. I don't know that his peak is what T.I.'s was.
I mean, at the time, some of his hit tracks like "Get Back," "Stand Up."
When was Ludacris peak?
That's on that.
"Get Back," "Stand Up," "Move, Bitch."
Okay,
those were some bangers though.
I kind of agree. He got a Grammy after that though. He got a Grammy after that with Runaway
So where
Love.
do you say T.I. peak at now?
T.I. peak at is
when he released
Paper Trail.
Paper Trail. That was his peak.
08.
Yeah, that is, and that was a crazy peak because it wasn't. Paper Trail wasn't like some of his previous work. It was more.
Yeah, after Paper Trail, he went to jail, I believe.
Yeah.
What the thing is, it's tough because he did King, and then he did the movie Atlanta, and he was like the biggest rapper at that time. And then I think he went to jail, came back, did Paper Trail, and then went to jail again.
Yeah.
But when you think of it, time frame wise, and in the grand scheme of things, Ludacris was a little while before him. So who was up there with Ludacris?
That's the thing, Nelly. But this is the thing,
Nelly. That's it, Nelly.
But this is the thing. I said King in Atlanta, so he at his peak. He goes to jail, come back, and then go to a peak again. So he reached another peak after. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So how can you even compare that to Ludacris? Ludacris did. Phenomenal. I would take
after Therapy.
Phenomenal.
After Release Therapy, it was over.
Release Therapy, yeah. Phenomenal. But it was musically the shit it went downhill and he started doing Fast and Furious because he did Too Fast, Too Furious.
Yeah.
Once he did Too Fast, Too Furious, that's when it started to slow down.
What is that?
And also with Ludacris, you got Nelly, you got Ja Rule. What are we?
50. You got
a lot of people said Ludacris.
You got
Young Jay. You got Before Black Album Jay.
That's a weird kind of. Who came up with that?
I just, when I was in Vegas, this is how the conversation actually came up because last time I was in Vegas, I had saw T.I. live, and it just came up like, yo, who's a bigger artist at their peaks, and a lot of people was arguing like Ludacris's like top songs surpassed T.I.'s top songs, and then when you look it up, I think T.I.'s top song ever was Whatever You Like, maybe.
Whatever You Like, yeah.
And my argument for that was that was like internationally known and global, but like everybody know Move, Bitch, Get Out the Way.
But that
that's his like second album.
This is because y'all going off of numbers. It's kind of you got to do.
That's where the argument. Yeah.
You can't really do numbers. Numbers could be manipulated. Like,
for sure.
That you really can't go Billboard, you can't go Grammys, you can't go accolades, none of that. You have to go culturally. And culturally, T.I. reached the peak, left, came back and reached another peak.
Yeah.
And then when he went back to jail, that's when it started going back down because then he brought out No Mercy and all that.
Yeah, I don't see the argument.
It's a lot of people that
I like Luda.
with me.
I like Luda, but
I think even Dev was like Parks. He was like Luda bigger than T.I. I'm pretty sure.
Nah.
I think Jesse, all of them was like Luda.
The better comparison would have been T.I. and Jeezy.
Yeah.
That's a good argument.
Yeah, that would have been a better one. Because Jeezy was a lot more consistent. And
they came out a year apart.
And there was a moment in time where like Luda stopped making music. So now Luda will pop up on a feature here and there. But
because I think Ludacris' biggest song is All I Do Is Win, 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 no matter what. Ain't he on that?
Yeah, but that's not his song.
That's not his song though. Yeah.
But he's still on it. It still counts.
You said his song though. That's his biggest feature.
It's still his song. He count. He got publishing on it.
Well, he right. I like Luda, and he had a run, but I think T.I. came after who we would consider his peers. So that's like saying who had a better career in basketball. Like,
don't say nothing crazy.
You can't. No, I'm just saying you can't really say if they coming up next to different people.
Dwayne Wade and James Harden.
I don't want to have this conversation.
you can't. Well, yeah, you can't really do it. So, and we're not gonna have that conversation because Dwayne Wade, my player. Yeah, that's my
and
favorite
James
player.
Harden mine.
So, so we ain't gonna do that. I respect James, but yeah, we'll leave it at
Yeah,
that.
I mean, my caveat to the argument always is I don't care if you. I mean, I don't have any problem with someone saying D Wade is bad. I don't have a problem, but I just ask for consistency when you put it on other. That's all. That's always how I
Consistency like
caveat
what?
it. Like I have no argument. Like if you putting him over him for rings, then you got to use the ring talk and other comparisons too. That's what I say to a lot of people. You got to.
Oh,
You can't
well,
not do it if in one situation and not do it in other situations. That's
I agree.
with reason though. It has to be with reason. Like and then whenever I say that, the argument always Robert Ory got all these rings, so he's better than all of them. No, you still got to be one of the best players in the world with rings. So if that's the argument, then I'm fine with that.
Well, I think it goes back to what Magic was just saying. It's impact on the culture, right?
Yeah,
AI is up there with no rings because of his impact on the game, not
that's a fact.
not because he had 10 rings. Now there are certain things to where like 6-0 will always be better in my mind than 13 and 0, but you was on the bench.
Without the ring.
You know what I'm saying? So like,
Yeah, it's all perspective. Yeah, it's all,
yeah,
you got to take everything into consideration.
but I'm a hooper. I play basketball. I love the game. So I also can say that as a player, well, one, I think AI is a 1, even though they put him at a 2. He's a 1. But as a player, if I had to choose between Dwayne Wade and AI, depending on my makeup, regardless of if that's my favorite player, I would choose AI. If I had the right team around him. But then again, Dwayne Wade, depending on the team, he's a better leader over the hump. That's why he got three rings, right? And he should have more, but LeBron was being LeBron. So
I get it. Yeah,
but
no,
yeah,
that's good.
It's one of
That's
those
good consistency.
Yeah, it's one of those things where it's like, regardless of who my favorite player is, I'm not on none of their payroll. So none of these teams payroll. So the reality is we can have a conversation, but part of where people get stuck is like, because that's my favorite player, all of this has to be right. And I've been saying for years, I don't know if I said this on the show, but I was talking to my cousin and I was like, the longer LeBron stays in the league, the more dents in his legacy he's putting into his greatness, like his argument of being the greatest of all time. Because right now it feels like he's just padding the stats, and there's nothing that's happening right now in his career. Even he's playing, but to what end?
Yeah,
Like
I get that.
That's the thing. So, and people got to be honest with that. They don't got nothing to do on LeBron. It's just the reality is he's always done what he's doing now on his teams, and now he's just doing it with his kids. And he padding stats. So
Hey, I got no dog in this argument. Arr, 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 arr. I got no dogs in this argument. I'm gonna plead the fifth. But we getting to the end. We're close to the end of the show. And I ask every guest this question. Frank, at this moment, how do your inner child feel at this moment of where you at in life? And how do your inner child feel now that you stepped away from your passion?
That's a good one. That's a really good one. I think my inner child right now feels relief. I say. Um, I've been able to really enjoy a lot more these last few years stepping away, but but stepping away from my passion, I think it's content or it's not. I'm not. I know, like I still love politics. I love I love what you can do in politics. I love the impact of it, but and sometimes I look at the landscape now and it bothers me a lot just seeing like how much what I would do differently and what have I experienced at a young age. So I just look at it like, I could be doing way better than this person or that person. And so like that's where the contentness comes. But it also knows that like it ain't I'm aware, my inner child is aware that like he'll know when it's time and it's ready. So um relief and content.
That's dope.
I will say something I really appreciated and that kind of I liked a lot is hearing Dev mention that like he heard about me because I knocked on his mom's door and had a conversation with her when I was running for office and doing stuff because that's the kind of grassroots stuff I'd like to be remembered for and recognized for is just that grassroots work, just like to put in some effort to have a conversation and meet people. Um, a lot of elected officials, a lot of people want recognition for other stuff, but I like that the minimal level impact that I was able to at least have. And for me, I've never had a real conversation with that, but that's something that he brought up. It's cool to me. Like it reminds me a little bit of what I was trying to do at the time, at least.
Word, yeah, she remembered that. Y'all had a long conversation, and we
Yeah,
we
I
never had
remember.
a like a long conversation, but I don't know, somehow we connected on Facebook,
Yeah,
and we've always exchanged on Facebook.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
But yeah, she remembered
It's,
that. She was like, "Oh yeah, he said that he know you from this, that, and then da da da." And I was like, "Uh, this is like at the height of Rock Freedom
yeah,
Riders." So I'm like, I know a lot of people and I engage with a lot of people, but I know a Frank who's Asian that lives down the street. I don't. It's
that's
possible. I don't know, but yeah. And then when I was like, "Oh yeah, yeah, yeah," we engaged in a few spaces. So
yeah,
yeah, that was cool. That was cool.
And last question: have you been watching the J. Cole interviews?
yeah. I ain't. Yeah,
Wait, what's
I
wrong
don't
with it?
like. It's just as a fan of him, it's just stuff you don't say to want to keep fans of him. It's just some
Wait,
of
you
his
no longer a fan?
I am
What's
a
the
fan,
issue?
but
This wasn't
I am
even
a
my
fan.
question.
I'm a fan. I still listen to him. And I like his last album for sure. It's like when you put someone on a pedestal, you don't want to hear someone saying, "I know I ain't the best." I know you don't want to hear
Okay.
someone saying that. You don't.
You
Okay.
Like
talking too
if
much.
you not if you gonna admit that and say that, then why should I, as a fan, and I know it's people that are bigger fans of him than me, you got to question why you a fan at a point. It's like you don't think you the best rapper, but I think you're the best rapper. So you telling me I'm wrong as a fan of you? It don't make sense.
Hmm,
Okay.
hmm,
I didn't look at it from that perspective.
hmm.
I'm not. I didn't look at that perspective. That wasn't the question I was going to ask you. Though.
I'll say
Hold
I
on,
was I
wait.
was I
Dev,
was a
Dev
bigger
got
J
something to
Cole
say.
fan before that.
Dev
Before
got something to say. Ask him before
What you said, Frank?
ask the question.
You say you was
I was
what?
a way bigger J Cole fan before these last few years. I'll say that. I still like him. He's still up there. Like it's not even a debate anymore for me. Like if you putting people over him sometimes.
Yeah. So I was thinking because I keep on seeing the parallels. I think the thing with Cole, and I've been talking about this religiously because he and my top three in terms of like who I've listened to in the last couple decades
Hmm.
is him, uh, Kendrick, and Big Sean. But Big Sean, he
I
did that
love Big Sean.
same he did that same thing where it's like, oh yeah, y'all talking about Big
Yeah,
Three, but what about me? Like, boy, first of all, we not even gonna go there. But I think with Cole, my thing with him is you not standing on your mastery and what it is. Like you not standing on what you believe you are because you trying to give everybody else all of the credit that you also too deserve. So like, because I was thinking about Kobe. I see him right in the back. And Kobe would always say I don't believe I'm the greatest player because there's somebody named Michael Jordan. If it wasn't for him, then I wouldn't be here. Now, Cole started that way with Nas. I let Nas down.
Mm-hmm.
Like that connection
Mm-hmm.
to where it's like, yeah, I'm doing this because of Nas. I want to make Nas happy. Somewhere along the line, that stopped. So now it's
Mm-hmm.
like you just saying that you don't think you're the best because you want your peers to like you. I don't like that. Like at
I
some
agree.
point, you have to stand on something. And it's funny because I listened to GNX all the way through uh again today, and listening to Cole talk about that, there were certain things that Kendrick was saying that you can say is a sneak this to Cole.
Yeah.
Um in the way of how Cole is carrying himself. Um and I just feel like there is we was talking about this the last episode around like if the idea around if the fall off would have been dropped during the beef, it wouldn't have been received. Magic believes that it would have been received regardless, which yes. But I think GNX, it hit, it was something that was probably already being crafted or whatever, but it met the energy that Kendrick was putting out at that time, which made it an even better album. So now there's a nostalgic element to when you listen to GNX because now I'm remembering everything that happened then. So
That's true.
with the fall off, I was thinking like, dang, GNX is actually, in my opinion, it's a way better listen. It's a way better curation of music given the time that it was released. Whereas the fall off feels like it is something that it is something that Cole could have released when he released the off season, and it would have been received really well. And then if he would have dropped the off season now, I think the off season would have been a lot better because he was giving the energy that people was wanting to feel and hear. Um, which I think is a curation thing. I think J. Cole needed an A&R. That's why his first album was trash because he needed an A&R to get to a specific sound. Whereas he's always been in this creative space to where he's battling with wanting to play basketball and also hoop. I mean, wanting to play basketball, but then also rap, but then also like be the people's champion. I don't know. It's mad weird, but Magic, go ahead, action your next question.
So
Yeah.
you calling him the Rock, but
Hey. I
he's the Rock of hip hop.
you talk
But
sometimes you talk too much. That's all.
but last question before we get up out of here. Yeah, we don't hit our mark. Um, I brought up J. Cole interviews because he kept saying how I had this conversation with myself, blah, 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 boom, boom, boom.
Mm-hmm.
At today, what are those conversations to yourself like? What are those conversations? What type of conversation are you having with yourself?
It's a great question too.
Mm.
I think a lot of the conversations to myself are just reminders of not to reminders of what I did wrong, but not that like it was just like a bad thing that I did. It's just like a little tweak or a little understanding of like had I done a little different, things would have been way better. So like I don't know if I explained that right, but I do it almost every morning. I try and journal now and be more effective with um just like holding myself accountable. And I think that's what's really helped me thrive in a landscape outside of politics is just having some more like personal accountability and reminding myself like of the mistakes I made, which were good mistakes, but like just to avoid doing them again. Man, I'm listen, I'm just happy to be able to still make impact where I'm at. And I gotta remind myself that all the time. It's like you're still making the same impact you were doing before and you're not doing it in politics. 'Cause, I mean sometimes I miss it a lot and I think about like what things could have been or where I would have been. I had a peak when I was elected where I'm like I felt like that was greatest thing I've ever accomplished. And sometimes I sit back like, am I ever gonna feel that again?
Mm.
But I remind myself I remind myself like I might not feel it again, but uh, the community and the impact that I'm having is still the same, even though I don't feel it again. You know what I mean?
Mm.
Okay, I got two questions. Quick takes.
All right.
The first one is, do you feel like you because I know y'all hungry. Do you feel like you cherish the moments when you got in that position?
I feel like I cherish I do. I feel like I cherish the moments. I just it's weird looking back on it. I do. Yeah. I feel like I cherish the moments.
And then the last one before you leave, before we end this show, what's the affirmation that you tell yourself each morning?
Each morning I say get up, just get up and go every day. Sometimes I'm in the bed a little longer and I just gotta tell myself like, yep, get up and go. And it connects to what I was just saying where like I realize I don't feel the same sometimes about the things I'm doing, or it just feel like the pride isn't there as much, but the impact is. So I say that to plug in that. Dev, if you ever in Rochester sometime, I gotta bring you to the farm. We have a urban farm on Lexington Ave.
Word?
It's insane, bro. Right around the corner.
Wait,
It's insane.
the food link? Where the food link?
Yeah, that's where I manage it. So that's where I pivoted over to. Put a bunch of
Oh,
put a but the space is amazing. It's beautiful. We got an education space. We got 200 plus raised beds, 100 plus families gardening there. I'd love to bring you there and just show you like the impact. It's crazy.
that's crazy because I remember that's how dang that's crazy. I'm getting to the age where it's like, oh, I've been around for a minute because I know
Yeah.
I've been in community for a minute, but I remember when they was just building that, getting it ready.
Mm-hmm.
They had the palace over there, all that stuff, because I was at
Facts.
34 school for the longest time. And then I was always over there, and then I lived on at Crescent Gardens on Driving Park, or off
Okay.
of Driving
Yeah.
Park. So yeah, nah, that's I got some thoughts. Yeah, we'll connect.
Yeah.
We'll connect because I'm
Yeah.
still connected to orgs and stuff like that, and gardening is something that we might can find some dollars to support.
Yeah. Let me know if you. We got I know you mentioned you at the Y. We got a partnership pending for a summer day at the Y for them. At the farm this year. So that's gonna be cool. Magic, you got to get out there too. You here? I had to catch myself.
I'm gonna pull up some.
Yeah,
Buy
you
some
gonna like
fruits
it.
and stuff.
You're gonna like it.
I was
and if it
supposed to
have
come.
equipment,
Remember, I was supposed to come get some vegetables and fruit.
yeah, you
Yeah, I was
are.
supposed to come buy some. Yeah.
I mean, and
I'm
if
gonna
I know you got a studio in Rashi, but if you got like portable equipment, it would be a perfect place to host one sometime too. We got like a conference room, and we got an education space. It's real nice.
Where at? In the
It's
building
right on
right
Lexington.
there? The building
No,
that's
we took it down and built a whole new building and a whole new greenhouse. It's a parking lot now. It's crazy.
what?
It's probably the biggest investment in that neighborhood in decades, honestly. And I'm happy to be a part of it because that's all the district that I was representing when I was in the
Yeah.
legislature.
Yeah.
So to be a part of that, help build it and see the impact on that end has been cool. But yeah, definitely when y'all around, come by.
Yeah, I'm back at the end of the
You'd be
month.
amazed.
I'm back
Okay.
at the end of the month, so I'll definitely pull up on you.
Yeah, we in Vegas May 1st though, so.
Oh no,
May
I'm
1st.
gonna be so I think I'm going to Miami on May 1st.
Okay.
So I'm gonna be out. But now that's dope. And I always like listening or hearing what's going on in community because I'm also tapped into a lot of different people and things happening in community, and I'm connected to the largest nonprofit organization in Monroe County, the YMCA. So
Yeah.
let's connect on that. And then also, I mean, I think the next step is Congress. That's what I'm saying. Don't even worry about them. I'm not calling city council little, but you know what I'm saying, you already did legislative work at the county level, so you might as well go to the next level and go federal. It's a bigger lift, but go federal, or even state.
State would be cool. I've thought about that before for sure. I know it'd be time and some work. So I want to get a couple things situated before enjoy some more life too.
Yeah, right. That's a fact. Because that is a heavy lift to always be head on a swivel, because you never know who is watching and that's a whole nother ball game. I think that's another reason, because I have no chill. So if I'm a politician, then I'll probably get canceled so many times.
I think that's where some of the I wouldn't say positive about Trump, but like I think it is creating an environment where we can feel more comfortable speaking our minds. He speaks his mind in a completely like irrational, wrong way, but I feel more comfortable being who I am now because of some of it. Because like in who I am, sometimes I do have to recognize like I'm in arenas where they probably won't, but I'm more comfortable doing it because I think it's possible to succeed like that now. So I guess
that's real. That's how I get in trouble at work, because I just show up as I am all the time. So it is what it's gonna be. But we appreciate you for coming on the show. We gotta have you back at some point. Shoot, even if we have you on again at some point when I'm in town, we could do in person at the studio.
Yeah, cool.
It's right there on State Street. But Magic, you got anything else?
No, sir.
Word. Frank, you got any events or anything happening in the future?
I guess at the farm, June 27th, we're doing a pot exchange. It's a pot that communities of color tend to use a lot of times that we found out have traces of lead. So we're hosting a pot exchange. You bring that pot, we're gonna give you some really nice pots. It's gonna be resource fair, June 27th. Say the date's pending, so I'll make sure I share any of that information if it's helpful.
Yeah, share that, because we not doing no lead checks no more. That time is long gone. Long gone. Well, that is the show. We appreciate you for coming on again, as always. But you already know, bring another set of ears for next week's show, because this is Introspective Insight, the Black Wall Street podcast, and we out. See you soon. Yeah. Come back next week. Yeah. Introspective Insight. Introspective Insight.